Happy Wednesday. What's up guys, you have an audience with Danos. I'm not going to start the video by saying it's been a while because apparently I've done that a lot because I'm lazy, which is half true. Yeah, I haven't been posting much because I've had some health related issues. I suffer with insomnia, so that completely throws my, But one thing I did mention a few videos ago was I really should go into detail about these short film project ideas that I've got in the future. I've been lacking a lot of motivation to make these kinds of videos recently, been very burnt out. But I thought it would be a good idea to just kind of drop this and see what you think. So, numero uno. God damn it, I'll take these off. So, the Imperatium, no, I'm not going to wear this whilst I explain. So those of you who've looked a little further back into my channel will know that I used to do some little short films, some fantasy ones, from a fictional universe called the Imperatium. The headliner for the Imperatium is a nation called the Imperatium, which is a Romanesque, Latinesque kind of fictionalized empire of human states. It is surrounded by other human states that it has yet to absorb, and it used to be a nation of dragon worshippers. This is the second Imperatium after overthrowing their dragon overlords. They discovered that the dragons weren't actually gods as they would claim to be, they're actually creations of someone else, and they just decided to hop on the train. I've done a bunch of info cards for each of the nations and factions in it. I haven't got onto the non-human nations, but you've got a bunch of anthropomorphic creatures. I managed to get someone really talented to draw 3 of them for me, and I can't wait to get onto more. So I have plans to completely redo that short film that I posted. Hopefully it'll be much better done. Right, so this next one might be a bit controversial. So as I said in a previous video, I'm a big fan of alternate history scenarios like Kaiserreich, which is a Hearts of Iron mod, set if Germany had won the First World War. My idea is based on an alternate history which is fairly popular, of what if Germany won the Second World War. So the idea was to look at what would the world in its entirety look like if the Axis powers had succeeded in the Second World War. But what I tend to find is most of the series that I've seen are set in the 1960s specifically. You've got a few. So my idea was, what would it look like if the Reich had survived up until 2021? So the idea that I had is called Erika 2021. We explore the themes of humanity and the lack of humanity in certain classes. So the actual thing is set in a country called Anglo-Saxon, which is the Reich Commissariat of England, with its lovely little white dragon. So in this timeline, England has been transformed into a regional department of the German Reich. Both England and Scotland, which is called Caledonia, Reich Commissariat Caledonian, have been integrated into the Reich as regional departments with its own devolved governments. As well as England and Scotland being under the foothold of Nazi Germany, you've also got a puppet government of the French state and the Italian Empire. Now the Italian Empire is a bit different because of course those two are big partners in what we describe as the Axis powers. Now the Axis powers in this world is our own version of NATO. Now it has its own flag, Security Council, anthem, headquarters, what have you. And of course, Germany tends to think that it's completely in control. So Erika herself, her name's Erika Shaw. She's a half Brit, half German. So my aim for this is to be very prop heavy, so we're going to have a lot of practical effects. Another part of it is I really need to have this be a series that prides itself on very good wardrobe. So for instance, German officers may wear something like this. Please be kind, YouTube. And using somewhat more modern stuff. Definitely planning on having the Italians on the scene. And we're going to have some really evil kind of characters like Hauptsturmführer Josef Stier, who is the captain of the SS in this particular region. So the overall story is Erika has to navigate the way through the hierarchy and through a world which is ripe with atrocities and things happening right in front of her that she doesn't really realise. And when she starts to become embroiled in said issues, she starts to really question everything. My idea wasn't to have some rebel resistance movement, because we usually get that from films and series, that you have this character who believes everything and then they start to disbelieve it and then become a resistance fighter, and it's very, very usual. What everyone should really understand is this is a world which is dominated completely by the Axis powers. There's going to be no underground resistance. You have to fight them individually. And so Erika realizes at some point, I don't know when, that she needs to grab all the power that she can to make a difference. Hopefully we can get an excellent cast together, because I really want to do this right. Now, you've already seen this kind of stuff, so I'll just refer you to my previous video. Obviously I want to do some kind of Star Trek thing. Yeah. Now, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I did think of another idea. I've long been a fan of Designated Survivor and House of Cards, which are excellent series, which I thoroughly recommend, especially the Korean one. I was pleasantly surprised by that. So it gave me this idea to hopefully at some point do some kind of political thing. And so I came up with this idea that we were in the depths of a government of a fictional country. Now, I think it would be too much of an undertaking to do it in an entirely fictional world. So I was thinking, why don't we base it in this world, but we take Atlantis and make it a real thing. So I was thinking that an area in the Atlantic, which I googled, and some people have done like really realistic simulations of what an island could look like in the center of the Atlantic. And so we have this Atlantean archipelago which has always been there and has played host to so many different historical events and scenarios, and has taken part in so many of the Earth's history. Already started on this work in progress info card, which I think is very pretty. It's this idea that Atlantis, up until World War I, when the British lost control of most of its empire, was a British dependency or British territory. I think I called it the British Atlantean territory. So upon getting its independence, it drew upon many of its traditional roots in forming its new government. So there's even traditional formal dress, which I thought was very sexy. And so we're going to look at what if Atlantis finally started sinking into the sea. How would a modern government react to that? How would all the departments work together? How would national crisis be averted? How would the international community react? Madness. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on these ideas, because I think they're pretty epic and I think they're going to be pretty epic. I just need to make sure that I have a good crew, a good cast, and a good head on my shoulders to administrate the logistics of it, which is going to be horrible. But alas, this is what we do for our art. So yeah, just a quick video to talk, well, quick, to talk about these ideas in a little bit more detail. Comment on the ones you like the sound of, any ideas you might have. If you even want to help, hit me up. Danos is always looking for new recruits. Summer has been very tiring, but hopefully we can get back into things now that lockdowns are starting to be things of the past. And it's great, and we're all still alive. Now I'm going to say goodbye in the style of each of these ideas, which logistically is going to take me a few minutes, so bear with me. Now remember kids, the Imperatium endures, or else. On behalf of the Department of Reich Tourism, we hope you enjoyed your stay in Anglo-Saxon. I'll me though, eh? On behalf of the crew of the USS Lancer, goodbye. And Atlantis' 12 points goes to Australia! La République Atlante. 10 points. And now I need a shower.